Astronauts float in space because they are in a constant state of free fall, creating what we call microgravity. While it might look like there's no gravity in space, that's not true. Gravity is still very much at work. In fact, gravity is the force that keeps the International Space Station, ISS, and other spacecraft orbiting Earth. But here's the cool part. Instead of pulling them straight down to the ground, gravity pulls them toward Earth while they move so fast sideways that they continuously miss it. Let's break it down further. When something is in orbit like the ISS, it's traveling at an incredible speed, about 28,000 kilometers per hour, or 17,500 miles per hour. At this speed, the spacecraft doesn't just fall straight down toward Earth. Instead, the curve of the Earth's surface means that as the spacecraft falls, it keeps missing the ground. Imagine throwing a ball really, really hard so that instead of hitting the ground, it keeps curving around the Earth. That's what's happening with the ISS and astronauts inside it. Now, inside the spacecraft, everything, including the astronauts, their tools, and even their food and water, is also falling at the same rate. This creates the sensation of weightlessness because there's nothing holding them down or resisting their fall. It's like if you were in a free-falling elevator. You, the elevator, and anything inside would fall at the same rate. So it would feel like you were floating. Astronauts experience this weightless environment the entire time they're in orbit. This is why you see them floating around, effortlessly gliding from one side of the spacecraft to the other. They perform flips or drink floating blobs of water. Even though gravity is still pulling on them, they're falling so perfectly with the spacecraft that it feels like there's no gravity at all. This free-fall sensation allows astronauts to conduct unique scientific experiments that wouldn't be possible on Earth, like studying how plants grow without the pull of gravity, or how fluids behave when they're not being pulled downward. To sum it up, astronauts float in space not because there's no gravity, but because they, the spacecraft, and everything inside it are all falling together around Earth at an incredibly fast speed. This endless fall creates the feeling of weightlessness, turning space into a playground where floating, flipping, and even drinking water blobs are part of daily life.